Good morning, America. This is my second video this morning, and time now is 1100 hours a.m. It's 3/25/2024, and it's Monday morning. I'm going to do this second video on a case in fact. Kamala Harris came to Florida to espouse her opinions about people's self-defense methods in the wake of a Parkland shooting in 2018. Now, I'm going to say this to Kamala Harris. If you take your bodyguards and take away their weapons, and then you go around without any bodyguards, now that would be fair, wouldn't it? Now let me ask you a question also. How would you fare in going through New York City at the present time with the predator illegals in New York City? I just saw a young woman whose purse was snatched by an exiled refugee who basically tried to run off with her $1,000 in her purse. And then she had to defend herself. Eventually, she beat the hell out of the man, and he ran away. But because she was bold enough and brave enough to stand up for herself, she survived that attack. Meanwhile, we have some of your liberal pundits, your liberal followers, standing around with their little cameras and just taking pictures and taking videos while the woman is being assaulted. Is that what you call a self-defense in your nation? Politics? Yeah, Parkland shooting was a catastrophe. Yes, it was. And bad people should not have weapons or guns. But then you ask the question, where did they get that illegal gun? Did they steal it from somewhere, like the thieves they are? Or were they given it by a nonconformist follower of your party? I'm going to say this to America. Defend yourselves. Defend yourselves against these liberal politicians who are questioning your Second Amendment rights to protect yourselves and your families and your homes and your lives. Because what you see in America is a complete destruction of your nation's will to survive. And they're causing enough trouble so that two-party divisions, two peoples, the good and the bad, the good and the evil, confront each other in a civil war. Because that's what they're doing. They're revving up this civil war because they can't win the elections freely. They don't have the unction and they don't have the cojones, and I will say cojones. If you're Spanish, you know what cojones are. You don't have the cojones to win the elections fairly with a people voting for the candidate. Now, Trump is winning by a long margin, but you're choosing to destroy his life and his assets and steal his assets because you can't do anything else. You're not capable of doing anything else. Your front runner, Biden, is incompetent. You're incompetent in all you do. that you the other day go to Puerto Rico and Puerto Rico sings a song and you're clapping to it and they're talking about you. I guarantee you, if you went into a fair elections, you would lose by a strong margin, by a strong voting factor in the United States, because you don't have the cojones to be good leaders. I am a simple man, but I am free. I'm a veteran of the United States of America, proudly served. And as long as there are patriots in this nation, you, my friends, will not take it over and become a totalitarian government. Now that is my way of thinking, because it's what I see among you pundits in the Democratic Party. You with Schumer, who pays your Congress people and your Soros funded group. Did you know what that man did when he was in Germany, when he was a young boy? Do you know? He was a collaborator for the Nazi Gestapo. He would point out wealthy, rich Jews in Hungary, and they would come in, arrest the occupants of a wealthy home, steal their jewelry, their artwork, all their possessions, and kept it to themselves. And Soros, what he would do, he would share the wealth of the rich and wealthy Jews that lived in Hungary. That's the kind of individual you're supporting. A Nazi collaborator from the time he was a young boy, and still dirtbag. And his son too. He said, the branch doesn't fall far from the tree. This is what you're supporting. And this is what you're protecting. You're not a good citizen, and much less are you a patriot to the United States of America. Men have died, have shed blood for freedom in this nation. They may have been your children, your sons and daughters, and yet you have the audacity to go around trying to ban people's self-defense and the Second Amendment rights as a free citizen. You have the audacity. I am one that is going to vote against your policies in Washington, D.C. And I hope and I pray that Donald J. Trump does win the elections, and that some Americans stand up and back up Donald J. Trump and give him what he needs so he can be free to do the work in Washington, D.C. And I hope and I pray that all patriots are listening to my conversation. I don't care about myself. I'm not worried about myself. I'm ill, terminally ill. I may die now, I may die tomorrow, or the next day, or yesterday. I do not care. whether you or your partners make it at all. And you won't. You lead this nation to destruction, that's where you're going to end up, in destruction. Myself, I'm not worried about me. Dust to dust am I, dust to dust will I go, as a terminally ill man. You want to see my, how would you say, my pacemaker? I don't worry about it. I've had a good life. I've had a good journey. I've been a good warrior, a good soldier, and I've been a good man. And now I am a grandfather, a great-grandfather. And my great-grandchildren are going to see what you irresponsible liberals have done to this nation. And I hope they stand up like I do and voice what they need to do and act what they need to do. There is no stands for you liberals. You have no stands. You have no unction. You have no cojones. And you have no leader. You have a dysfunctional leader. And then you have a one who hides in the basement, in an underground bunker, telling what that leader needs to do. And he's enjoying himself in Martha's vineyard, while you schmucks are out trying to policy on how to disarm Americans. This is what you do. Can't go to the border and confront an invasion and siege of illegal exiled refugees. Dirtbags and predators that come from other nations have been emptied out in the prisons to come to our glorious, lovely nation, beautiful nation of the American people. Because you, liberal Democrats, want to make it so. It won't happen. Not while an American patriot is alive in this nation. I guarantee you that. Trust what I say, as God is my witness. God bless America. God bless our military. God bless our law enforcement. And whatever you do, law enforcement, protect the innocent. Because there will be much more and worse actions against them that will come in the near future. They need your help. They need your protection at all times. A job is just a job. But ethical values and moral values are much more worth that little amount of pay that you get. Your families are at stake in survival. God bless America.